Happy Sunday, Stampers and Paper Crafters. This is Facebook Live number 474. It is Sunday, March 22nd, 2026. My name is Joy Borwedge, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live in Burnsville, Minnesota, and I have been a demonstrator since August of 1999. Some really cool things are coming, and I can't wait. So we'll talk about that maybe during the when I put you down. So I'm going to put you down at the table in just a few seconds. If you get motion sickness or anything like that, just look away and I'll let you know when I am done fooling around with the camera. So hold on. So hopefully you have had a good weekend. Somehow I tweaked my back and I have been kind of pretty much a lame ass this weekend. Doing a lot of stretches and icing it and putting, stuff on it to make it so that it's not numb, but you know what I mean. Kind of like lidocaine on it. I have a physical job at work, so I think we're good. So I have a physical job at work, and so I want to be able to do whatever it is I need to accomplish during the day. All right, so I am going to put light on the subject. So again, my name is Joy Borwedge. I have an Instagram page at Stampin' for Joy. Joy A. Borwedge is my YouTube page. stampinforjoy.stampinup.net is my online store. And penguinz33 at outlook.com is a place for if you want to be on my email list. You can request that. If I notify you of stamp camps that are at my apartment in Burnsville, any kind of notifications from Stampin' Up, so like free shipping, if there's a sale on, like a discount on stamps or, things like that. So I send out emails. And then so you can always request to be on my email list. And then my Facebook page is also Stampin' for Joy. So what happens here is I am live on my Joy Borwedge page, and I record this video and I download it to my YouTube page as well as my Stampin' for Joy page. So you're likely to see something somewhere. So on the Facebook pages, you only have 30 days to watch. And then that's the reason why I downloaded it on my YouTube page. Now you can order anytime on my website. It is 24/7, so we have lots of fun. Okay, so let's talk about some things that are going on right now. This is the annual catalog, and this is the spring mini catalog. And so you've probably heard that Stampin' Up! Is going to go 3 catalogs. What they're doing is they're taking away the annual catalog and they're taking away the 2 mini catalogs. Hi, Mike, I see you. And what they're doing is they're combining them. And so then we have the catalog, which will be a trimester. So it'll last for 4 months. So January, February, March, and April will be catalog number 1 out of the year. And then May, June, July, August, that's another catalog. And then we have September, October, November, and December. So we have a trimester of catalogs, and they're combining these 2. So then that way, you as a customer will know what catalog they're in, or if they're in the online store, which we just had the March exclusives. Introduced in the beginning of March. And so this is the online exclusives, means that you can purchase these only in the online store. That way they can introduce new product more quickly. So thank you very much, and I look very forward to helping you out. Now, coming up, my friend and I, Heidi, and I are doing the virtualstampinevent.com. And so if you, which is happening this coming March 28th, so that's this coming Saturday, and I think today or tomorrow might be the last day to order the kits. I'm not sure when we have the cutoff date, but you can always check that out at, hi Tina, welcome, thevirtualstampinevent.com, and those kits will be mailed to you. Now, I think that if there's a late comer and you happen to be in the Twin Cities, maybe you can pick those kits up. I'm not sure if that's an option anymore. So you can always contact me and see what's going on. But the stampinevent.com, our next in-person, so hold, save the date. It's July 18th. And that's the church in Highland Park, St. Luke's. And that is, I think this is the date that we're going ahead for. I don't know if registration is open yet. It's probably a little early. So just put that on your calendar, block that out so people can say, hey, let's do something that. And you can say, no, I'm stamping that weekend. So, all right. So we have Stampin' Up! Is putting on a new virtual album retreat. And this is going to be from April 29th through May 1st. Now, this kit was just released, and there are going to be 10 spread albums. So what that means is that you'll be making 20 pages, and that is available coming up. And so the kit is, let's see, 168051, and it's called the 2026 Virtual Album Retreat Happiness is Here kit. And so you'll be getting a link. Once you sign up, you'll be getting a link to join a Facebook page, and then you will get the measurements and everything that you need to cut up your kit in. Hi, Don. Welcome. And so it's $250. Now, that is the same amount as the last kit. And I heard from many people that it was well worth it. Now, it's $250, and so you will be able to, if you have a demonstrator discount, that can be applied to that. If you have Stampin' Rewards, you can apply that also. Now, you can also earn $25 in Stampin' Rewards on your next purchase when you purchase this kit. So I'm just going to kind of show you what your spread looks like. And so here is your opening page and your closing page, and spread number 2, spread number 3, spread number 4, and then spread number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So when you do this kit, now if there's one day that's not available for you, or you're not able to hang out from, I think it says 2 to 9. So in Minnesota time, that's going to be from 3 to 10, and end times may vary. So you're going to watch Stampin' Up! Staff teach you how to put these scrapbook pages together. Now you'll learn tips and tricks that you'll be able to use. Now, if you want to, you can just watch the videos as they go, and then go watch the videos again in a day that you, at your convenience, and put things together. So you could stop, rewind, pause, and do all the things that you need to. And if you want, you can go rogue and not necessarily follow same exact. That is up to you. So check that out if you are a scrapbooker. But you know what? If you don't want to do scrapbooking, you can buy that kit and make a whole bunch of cards. or home decor products. Okay, the next thing we have to talk about is the Notes of Spring. Pauline, welcome. It's nice to see you. The Notes of Spring. So when you place an order in my online store and you meet the qualifying total of, or subtotal of $75, you're going to receive a little invite that says you have now reached the goal, to the minimum to place an order to receive the option to purchase this for only $5. I mean, getting a stamp set for $5 is pretty cool. So when you place an order of $75, hi Judy, nice to see you. When you place an order in my online store for $75 subtotal, okay, so that $75 has to be after your discounts and after your rewards or coupons, then you'll get this little blurb that says, hey, would you like to purchase the product of the month? And it's while supplies lasts. So this month is called the Notes of Spring, which is a 2-step stamp. Now, if you want to do this deer and color it with your blends, you can do that. Or if you want to use the filler stamp and color it in, you can do that too. So that is going on through the end of March. All right, guys, let's get on with our card. Now, we're going to be using kind of a few different things. Going to be using the stamp set called The Right Words. This is from the annual catalog, and we're going to use this one a lot. It's on page 89, and I love this sentiment. Now, this stamp set is red rubber, so it's eventually going to sell out and get on the retired list, because once it's on the last chance list or it sells out before the end of the catalog, it will be gone. So I don't know where they're at with their red rubber and if they're able to make, it till the end. So I'm not sure where they're at. So The Right Words is on page 89 in the annual catalog. And then we're going to be using the Sweet collection called Lovely and Beautiful. So I may not use everything, but here are the dies. That is the beautiful celebrated dies that coordinate with beautifully celebrated. Okay, yeah, beautifully celebrated dies. That's what they're supposed to be called. I kind of missed a little bit on my typing there. And then this is a mega bundle because it has 2 stamp sets. So you could see that I am using that piece. We're not using any of the stamps though. And then we are using not any of these dies out of the Simply Beautiful dies, but we're using the Thinking of You. And so this one has Thinking of You, but I wanted to use this one from the stamp set, and then the inside of the card's going to say a lot. And then that way, whoever wins this card gets to fill it in with whatever they need the greeting to be. And then we're also going to use, I finally figured out how to use the Beautifully Adorned ephemera pack. So we're going to use some pieces in here, and we're going to use this piece, get 2 sheets of each. And let's see here. Then we're going to go with these. Whoops. This is my first time using an ephemera pack, so I had to kind of look at it, and kind of figure out how I wanted to use it. Okay, and then we're going to use this piece right here. And so these are little corner pieces that could be used for scrapbooking as well. And so that is the Beautifully adorned ephemera pack. And then we're also going to be using the lovely and beautiful specialty paper. Now the specialty paper is meaning that it's foil. So you could see that every sheet has a little bit of that gold foil on it. And so it is Calypso Coral, Darling Duckling, Fresh Freesia, Old Olive, Peach Pie, Petal Pink, and gold foil. So that's the designer series paper. Now I just kind of wanted to show you a little bit of what the dies can do. And we're not using any of these except for the Thinking of You, but I thought I'd just kind of show you my cheat sheet. This is what I do to kind of, when I don't know what I want to do, it kind of helps me figure out what pieces do to what, you know, and so I can put these two together and make a flower, or I can put these 2 pieces or 3 pieces and make a flower. So it kind of guides me and shows me what each piece can do and where to go from there. And so it helps me kind of like as a kind of a starting point as to where to go. All right, let's show you the cardstock and the dimensions. Okay, so we have 3 pieces of scrap, and they are 2.5 inches by 1/2 inch wide, and so there's 3 of them. And then we have a piece of basic white, which is 1/2 by 2, and then a piece of the designer series paper, which is a 3/4 inch by 6 piece. I just want to make sure that everything is in picture. And then we have a piece of basic white, which is 3¼ by 4½. And this is a thick basic white, and it's going to be our card base. So it's 4¼ by 5½. This is a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. And then this is going to be our card. And so this is 8 inches long by 5¼ tall, and I scored it at 4. And so that's going to basically sit on this like that. Okay, so I'm just going to let that sit there for a few seconds. So then that way you're like, wow, Joy made a really cool card. I want to come back in and I want to make that myself. And so you could do that. And you can use what you have. So you may not have the ephemera pack, but you might have a stamp set that has a flower on it with a die cut. So you could certainly do that as well. All right, I'm just going to take a drink. And then we're going to put, I mean, this card is super easy that you can use this with any designer series paper. You can do this with an embossing folder. So different ways to go. All right. And we're also going to do some embossing tonight too. Some heat embossing. All right. So we're going to take all these little pieces off. Just like that. And I am going to take this piece and I am going to line this piece up at the 3/4 inch mark, because I'm going to whack off 3/4 of an inch off my paper. So I'm going to grab the paper trimmer and get these out of my way. There we go. And put these over here so I don't lose my pieces. Okay. So as I was saying, this is my paper trimmer, Stampin' Up's paper trimmer. And I'm going to line this fold up at 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so this is where it's at. Okay, and then I'm going to line this up 1, 2, and 3/4 of an inch. And we're going to cut that off. Now, we're actually going to use this piece right here for our greeting. So what that looks like is it's going to leave a little piece like this. And it looks like I might need to get a new scoring blade. Not a cutting blade, because it's leaving a little bit of, what do you say? I'll just take a little sanding block and make that all better. Okay. And we sell trimmer paper, the trimmer blades in the catalog. So we're going to take this piece right here, and we're going to put that right there. But I want to keep the gold at the bottom, and then we're going to kind of cut a little bit off at the top there. So we're going to add adhesive from all the way. And this is my silicone craft mat. I love it because it helps me with my overuse, when I overshoot my adhesive, which I do a lot. All right, so we're going to put that all the way to the bottom, and we're going to lay this down just a little bit right there, and we're going to cut off the extra. And see how pretty that is? All right, so we're going to get our paper snips and turn this over, and we're going to cut that off. Oops, stuck to my fingers. Okay, so there we go. And then I'm going to grab the Stampin' Pearson mat, and we're going to do the stamping on the inside. And that's going to be in peach pie, because thank you very much for sharing, Pauline. Yeah, if you share this video on your, there we go. I just want to make sure I am straight. If you share this on your timeline, then you get 2 entries to get a chance to win this card once I'm done with it. And so that is the only stamping in peach pie that we need. And so we're good. We're going to add this to the inside of the card. And that is going to go right here. I think, nope, I had the wrong size on this. This is supposed to be, what was it? I'm going to have to go measure, because this is, yeah, this is the same size. Then why is it weird in here? Well, that's okay. We'll just take a little bit off. All right, so guess we'll fix that. Three. There. I changed things up after. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, so this really is 3 by 4 1/4. I didn't adjust. Okay, so 3 and 4 1/4. So just in case you really need to know that, if you come back in, because I wanted a little bit of white space on this side, and I want it to be equidistant. So, and not to see that when you close it. So that's what that looks like. And then we're gonna take this piece right here, and we're gonna use our embossing toolkit, our embossing additions toolkit, and we're going to use this is what I do with my embossing buddy, is I like to do it on the inside of my tray, because I live in Minnesota and we have static cling in the wintertime. So I'm going to do that, and then where did it go? Oh, it's stuck. See, it's stuck to the bottom of my tray. So we're going to just use the embossing buddy on that. And then we're going to take Versamark. And we're going to do Thinking of You. And we're just going to go tap, tap, tap. Make it sure it's all nice and inky. It's a sticky ink. And then we're going to set that down, just like that. And then we're going to close that up, and we're going to grab the Wow embossing powder. And we're going to pour that on top. And then we'll just add a second layer. And we're just going to kind of flick it. And that turned out very nice. Now, I don't even see any flecks. That is the first time that's ever happened, where there are no flecks of extra gold on there. And so what you do is you unhook the tip and you put that back in. Seeing as how I don't wish to do that on camera, use this piece to, push it back in. That's just going to take up too much time. I'll do that at the, not on camera. And I'm going to use the kit. You get the reverse tweezers, you get the brush, and you get the tray, and you get the embossing buddy. The Wow embossing powder comes in 2 different color families, I want to say. You get basics, and then you get the metallics. You get gold, bronze. Is it bronze or is it copper? And silver. So it's copper. So gold, copper, and silver. All right, so I am going to use the heat tool. I just wanted to get that out of here so when we use the heat tool, it doesn't blow anything away. And so I'm just going to turn this on. Now this is the first ever heat tool that Stampin' Up! Came out with. And once it dies, then I will get a new one. So we're just letting it warm up. Hi, Barb. Nice to see you on here. And I am going to heat that up, and hopefully you can see it turn its color. Woohoo! I do the top and the bottom, because in that way, if your sheet becomes, okay, there we go. If it comes warped, if you do the top and the bottom, it just kind of helps it stay straight. All right, now we're done with that. So woohoo! And I unplugged it, because anytime you have a heat tool and you're not using it, it needs to be unplugged, because that could be a fire hazard. All right, so see how that turned out really nice? Okay, so now what we're going to do is, it has that shininess to it, and then also it feels like it's embossed. Okay, so we're going to take scissors and we're going to fussy cut this out. Now I got a little close to the edge there, but you know what? I'm fine with that. You could still see what's going on. And I am going to cut it towards the light so I can kind of guide my scissors where I'm going. And I might be able to go back in and recut, you know, kind of fix it a little bit if I get a little too close to the edge, but it will be fine. Because they're not going to say, oh, you don't like me enough. The Y is cut off a little bit. All right, so we just turn the paper and we're going to cut that off just so that it gets rid of that, and go down in to the F a little bit and turn. And see how fun that turned out? Kind of fix that a little bit so it's not so straight. Okay. And we'll get a little closer on this one so that it kind of doesn't make the Y look too bad. Okay. I'll kind of round that up a little bit. Okay, so there we go. How fun is that? Yep, just a little bit. And we're doing tone on tone, so you may not notice that as much. Okay, so I'm just going to take all that and put that in the trash. Okay, so now we can start putting our card together. Grab out that craft sheet here, and these 3 pieces of Designer Series paper. Okay, so I want to lay them out so I kind of know where I have them sitting on my paper. So I'm going to put this one on here, and actually, see how the yellow is up there? I'm going to flip-flop that. I want the bigger yellow at the bottom, and this yellow is going to get covered, and I don't want it to. I like the yellow. Okay, so we're going to, never mind. The green and the green, actually, it's okay. It'll get covered. So we're going to flip these in order, and then we'll add the adhesive. And like I said, this is an actual easy layout that anybody can recreate a card. And so we're going to go right here. I think that's pretty straight. And then we're going to go a little bit over. Oops. There we go. And this one, we're going to put at a little bit, but not as far as the one, but I want the distance between them to be the same. Nope. So kind of like that. Okay, so there we go. So that's what it's looking like so far. Then we're going to take the gold flower from the ephemera pack, and we're going to, oh, you know what? I forgot. I need to die cut something. So we're going to take this and put that off to the side, grab our dimensionals. Ooh, in our little corners, we're going to put that on here too. And we're going to put that face up so that the adhesive And we're going to grab this from this, that is from the Beautifully Celebrated Dies. It's on page 24 in the Spring Mini. And we're going to grab the mini. Okay, so when you have the mini the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the top and the bottom need to be the same, and the one on the inside needs to be kind of pushed in a little bit, so that this, and you can see my plates are well loved, both top and bottom. So I use a lot, and so we could put it like this, I guess. And so we're going to put this right here. Doesn't matter really about the stem. I'm going to be covering it up anyways. And we're just going to load that right through. A very well-loved Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. All right. And there is a piece, and we're going to get rid of that right away. And we're going to put that back in. Thank you for the thumbs up. And the hearts. Okay, so now if you drop that, sometimes they come out. That's okay. The Glass Mat Studio is in the online store, and it is a fun piece to have. And if you're crafting on a surface that's not very sturdy, having the Glass Mat Studio is like the perfect base to stamp on. And mine actually has a little bit of cuts, but you really can't tell. And it's, again, very well loved. Just like my Take Your Pick tool. Okay, so then we're going to take this piece and we're going to do the Wink of Stella right now. And we're going to lay this down, the brush, kind of on its side. That way we're coloring the majority of our, there's a scrap piece right there. And can you see that sparkle? I don't know. Oh, there goes the sparkle. It glimmers. Okay, so then now we're going to put dimensionals on the back of our flower. And you can see once you put this on your cardstock, you're not going to see the dimensionals through the back because of the gold on there. And so that is going to go right here. And then we're going to put this piece right down in. I'm hitting a dimensional, so I just want to know if I need to cut this off. And I think I will. I can cut the stem off. Nobody's going to know, except for you guys. I'm going to add that right here. It's right at the edge, so I'm wondering if I want to change that. Oh, there we go. I can move it, lift it up. There we go. That's right underneath that. And then this, we're going to cut this off. And this is the reason why I love my craft mats, because I can do little tiny pieces and add adhesive, and it doesn't hurt it one whatsoever. And we're going to lift this up just a little bit because it's on vellum, right? It's not going to make a difference. See? And then we're going to put the big dimensionals away, and we're going to grab our mini dimensionals, and we're going to do just a tiny bit off the edge here, and we're going to do skinny pieces. Yes, I am. By the time you know what's going to happen is I'm at work, and by the time I get a chance to order them, they'll be all gone. I bet you had fun at convention, didn't you? I wish I could have gone. My friends and I are looking to go to On Stage 2028. Have to go to the Red Iguana one last time, because my friends, they may not stay in Stampin' Up! Much longer, so it would be kind of fun to go again with those guys. All right. Oops, it's stuck. Okay, so we are going to put this right under here. And we're going to have this hit the edge of that. And so it sparkles on in. And then we're going to put adhesive on these little corner pieces. And one is going to go up in here. And then the other one is going to go down in here. Here we go. And I think we're equidistant. I mean, isn't that pretty? Just a little tiny bit of gold that brings that front of the inside. Okay, and then now we are going to, I colored these rhinestone basic jewels with my nib tip. So I start kind of facing down, okay, and like you are frosting a cupcake. I go around the edge and I end up at the top. Thank you, Judy. I'm glad you had a good time at convention. My friends and I were stalking people that we knew, and anybody who posted something, we would post it on the page that we all, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us watch. And so some of us are retired, several of them are retired, and a couple of us have jobs. One's not a demonstrator anymore, but we'll definitely join if we decided to really make it to the 2028. And got that. I always use the dark, and I always use the nib tip when I color my rhinestones because they're faceted, and that way they will not ruin your brush tips. And for the most part, your nib tips are darker than your brush on some things. All right, so we are actually done with the card. I know, kind of simple for me, but you know. All right, so if you want to get a chance to, you didn't post anything? You were probably too busy living in the moment, correct? That's how it usually goes. And then, all right, so Thank you very much. Yeah, I was having a hard time with this ephemera, and I was like making myself use it. And because I bought the suite, and then it comes with it. And I'm like, well, I got to find a way to use it. So I went above and beyond my design box, and I overstepped, and I went into the vellum. So if you do a thumbs up or a heart, you get a chance to get into the drawing to win this card. If you leave a comment, then you get a chance to get entered. Oh, thank you very much. Well, that was cool. You're under Rhonda, aren't you? Thank you very much, Barb. That is very sweet of you. And then that gets, leaving a comment gets entered into the drawing. And if you share this on your timeline, that gets you 2 entries, 2 chances to get entered. And I thank you very much for hanging out with me on a Sunday evening. And I thank you for, making me feel like I'm not talking to myself, even though I am. But you guys respond, and that makes me feel so good. Oh, Erica, that's it. I knew you were under a big one. I follow her too, and she is so inspirational. So you guys make Sunday nights for me. So you know what? I showed you this big white piece. I'm not done. Gosh darn it. Somebody didn't say, hey, Joy, this actually has a card base. Duh. I was like looking at that piece going like, why is that sitting there? I forgot. Most of my card bases are not, when I do this, it's not white. But because the Designer Series paper has white in it, I wanted white to be the background. And this is a little crooked for me, so I'm going to fix that. And I'm going to put a little bit more on this side. All right. And this is thick, basic white. So it's going to give you a good card base. There we go. Much better. So, see, now it looks better. So the reason why I like to do my cards this way is so that when you open it up, you see that color as well. So 95% of the time, I do my cards this way. And I like to show people. Ooh, got a little bit of glue on that. Or a little bit of, get there, get off. Yeah, there we go. So now we could go back in. Now you can get a chance to win the finished card. And I will be back. I do my Facebook Lives on Sundays after 5 o'clock. And then I do on Thursdays after 5 o'clock. So it depends on how late I work, what time I get off. And if I have, if I've prepped it before Thursday, then we're good. But sometimes, a lot of times, I think of what I'm doing when I get home. So we'll see. So you guys, thank you very much for hanging out with me on a Sunday evening. I look forward to seeing you probably on Thursday after 5. I'll leave a little snippet, a little reminder, a half an hour before I go live. And have a great week, guys. And happy stamping!